Could you speak to nervous system regulation and what, I think you've already probably spoken a little bit to that, but what causes the inflammation and the like fight or flight, all that, and then what supplements and also what real stuff, like I go for a walk in the forest every day. That's going to calm my nervous system.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How can you help it? So for nervous system regulation, it helps to think about this question for people, like where or what would you be doing to relax, to calm down, to de-stress? And when you're there, what would you be doing? So I would say, well, your current, where you're at on the ocean in this beautiful place in nature, is probably like where you would have a health retreat. Like, where would you have a health retreat? It's probably not in the middle of an urban city with tons of fire alarms and, cop cars running down the road and homeless people trying to attack you or whatever it be. That happened to me when I was living down in Chicago. But it's probably in nature. It's probably in somewhere quiet. It's probably somewhere you can look far away at the scenery or the horizon. And it's probably not happening on your phone. I go back to the phone, but I think the phone is this thing we haven't talked enough about as far as reducing and modulating the way we use our phone in a more mindful manner. But I do think that is really key for people right now. Old stress and old trauma is very important as well. I'll talk about that in a second. But I think getting back to nature without your phone is the most important. I was driving to work out and I just got back from working out and somebody was running on the side of the road with their phone. They were like looking at their phone while they were running. And I was like, how long are you doing that for? You're like going for like a 20-minute run, like on your phone. I was like, that's wild. But I'm like, it's a good way to kind of like do something that's good for your nervous system to help with stress exercise while doing something you're not. It's like someone smoking a cigarette on the treadmill.
Yeah.
It's like, that's fascinating. Clever, but like, I think your arm's going to get tired. But anyways, I think for nervous system regulation, the biggest thing is you can use the technology you have for good or for evil. Like Spider-Man, it's like with every power comes great responsibility. Your phone is this amazing, powerful tool, especially social media. You can use it to, just randomly scroll through TikTok and look at things that trigger you or upset you or turn you on or make you excited or make you sad or make you laugh or make you cry. And that's going to be an emotional roller coaster the whole time. And that's going to keep you addicted to it. Or you can follow accounts that are healing, that are educational, that are slow, that are inspiring, that put long form content. You can go towards more full length YouTube videos or podcasts versus short form clips. And most of us are going to be addicted to short form clips because it's fun to just like, I just went through like an hour of, Instagram reels and I just learned like all these short little things or the top 10 detox supplements. But at the end of the day, we do need to get into real conversations that are longer form content and making sure we're following people who bring us up, not bring us down, and follow news sources too that are more of either just the facts, like Tip News or Reuters is still pretty good, even though Reuters just got some pharmaceutical money endowments this year. So they're a little bit biased now. But Reuters is still decent. Tip News is a good unbiased source of like, here's just an email with like the facts of the day, rather than a lot of the fear and division that's promoted from the news. But I think being very mindful about the technology is extremely important, and also just tracking your hours on it, because you could have a digital retreat. I've seen this now where people go on like, they have an online workshop or a digital retreat where they're on like something like the Calm app or meditation app, where they're just like using their phone to meditate for 10 hours a day. And that's cool. That's a really good use of that power. But they're probably not staring at the phone while they're meditating for 10 hours, because I hope not. So even just like the eyes, people think the eye is like a separate organ, but your eye is actually brain matter. And it's a window into your soul. Like you look at someone in the eyes, you connect with them on a soul level, and you can tell right away whether they're stressed or not through their eyeballs. So the power of our eyes looking close, looking far away is extremely important for our neurology and regulating our nervous system. So when someone's really stressed out or anxious, I think I had to speak in court one time at a hearing for a patient in a car accident. I was pretty jazzed up and called one of my trauma therapist friends, and she's like, just look up to the corners, look up, take some deep breaths. And instantly my body just calmed down. It's like, that's crazy. All I had to do was like look at the clouds and I just relaxed down. So looking,
Interesting.
a lot of people, when they get stressed, they hold their phone down in a downward posture. But if you extend your head back, look up at the clouds, take some deep breaths, just like the visual eye movement up will help get you in a different brainwave state. A lot of hypnotists will use that to get people into that relaxed state. They'll have them roll their eyes up into their head or close their eyes and roll their eyes all the way up, and their eyes will start fluttering a little bit. That will instantly get someone into a different brainwave state. So eyes up or eyes looking far away at the trees or at the horizon, it's really helpful. So I do think that's one of the best ways to regulate your nervous system. Besides, so that's one big one. Another big way is knowing that we either heal through suffering, pain, or pleasure. So we heal through pain or we heal through pleasure. And a lot of people don't want to do either. They don't know how to do either right now. They're sort of stuck in this like middle road. And you either have to feel into the discomfort and feel it to heal it, and meditate on sadness or fear or stress or whatever you're worried about, whether that's in therapy or by yourself. You really have to think about what your truly most discomforting thing is in life at the moment, whatever's currently really bothering you. And if you actually sit with it for a couple minutes and just don't distract yourself, but really dive into it rather than away, which is our natural instinct, but to really dive towards it, feel the discomfort, cry, be mad, be sad, be whatever you're feeling, just to allow it to be. And then after that's passed, you can kind of shift into the more positive aspect and more into a calm state and just recenter back into your body. That's one way, is to go towards the pain. The other way to regulate your nervous system is to go towards pleasure, which is kind of a joke. It's like gaslighting yourself. You're like, I'm not having a bad day. Let me just go turn on some music and dance. Like, I'm going to ignore my pain. But that can be profoundly healing, whether it's comedy, laughter, whether it is using your phone for that purpose of cheering you up. Sometimes doing something when you're really depressed, you're really anxious, you're really in a tough nervous system state. Like, I know working out makes me feel better. I know eating well makes me feel better. I know doing origami or doing a crossword puzzle makes me feel better. Or I know that going for a walk in nature makes me feel better. So you're using that pleasure of the walk or the exercise to really re-regulate your nervous system as well. And what's funny is, for some people, one person's pain is another person's pleasure. So a lot of it is just perception. Jiu-jitsu could be a nightmare for one person, and it could be super pleasurable for another. Or a plane ride, flying a plane, could be great for a pilot and really terrifying for someone who doesn't know how to fly a plane. So finding things that are either pleasurable and fun to sort of like bring your nervous system up and distract you a little bit, or finding ways to feel more comfortable going towards some of that discomfort in meditation or in just your deepest feelings, and sitting with it rather than running away from it, are usually the quickest ways to re-regulate your nervous system.
Yeah. And I find when we actually sit with it and go into it, it's not usually as scary as we think it's going to be.
It never is. Yeah.
No.
You're not going to die. You're like, oh my God, I'm going to die. It's going to be horrible. Then you're like, wait, actually, I'm still here.